we're in a commercial airliner's hangar.
They put that nut and bolt everywhere. It's a
really?
nightmare. But if you don't have these, you can't fix the airplanes. This is where all the guys store their toolboxes. 99% of what we do, we train on. Specialty wrenches.
Oh my goodness.
That they can't expect everybody to buy.
I've never done anything like this, so it's pretty cool. And I'm really excited. But today, we've got Mike, man. Thank you so much for meeting up with me, man. This is really exciting because I've never even been in a hangar like this before. This place is huge. So you've been working on commercial jets for a long time?
41 years.
41 years. Oh, we have a few different boxes here. I just got done talking with Mike. There's a lot of specialty tools here that you don't really see very much in like automotive and stuff. So I'm really excited to see what all there is. Do you enjoy working on?
Oh, I love working on airplanes.
Yeah.
I love troubleshooting, love working on them. Anything to do with them, I still am, even after 41 years.
Yeah.
But like you said, like this box is set up to do sheet metal work, repairs. So this is a private mechanic's box that he spent a lot of money over the last 20 years making.
So I'm just not familiar with, I guess, like shops like this. Do you guys have Snap-on and Matco come by? And
Snap-on comes every Wednesday.
Okay.
And then Matco, guys just go out and call them and they'll meet them somewhere usually. We're unlike automotive where we buy one set of tools and it changes very little over 41 years. I've used the same exact tools. So these are all specialty tools, and this is a specialty tool
what in the world?
Drilling horizontally, vertically, and when you're in confined spaces. It will drill a countersink, but you can change this tip and put a short, we call them stubby drill bits, and they're threaded on the end. So if you just look at this is threaded. So you can put a threaded, any size drill bit up to 3/8 of an inch if you can find one that's threaded like that.
That's crazy. So is this all just one
tool?
What's one tool?
Then we have this, you put a special nut in and you put an Allen wrench through here, and this is called a high lock. There's high locks all over the airplane. So you put this in here, and at a specific torque, the nut on the high lock shears off, and that way you know you're at the proper torque.
This is the other thing, you can stick it through here. You're gonna see it.
Oh, yeah.
Because if this spin,
This part spin.
that part spin, you can't. So the way it works is put it like that. When you put it like this is gonna be, that part is gonna stick in that groove. So it'll hold it.
Oh, wow.
That's cool though, huh?
Yeah, it is.
So we're stepping up into the big boy world of large rivets, and this would be considered a large but not a huge rivet. And then when we use this gun, these are different types of headers for this gun, and he has another couple guns in here also. This is a smaller gun. So we'll switch this one.
They look similar to like an air hammer.
It's exactly like an air hammer, but again, if I have to go around structure to set the head of this rivet, and every head is different. So if you take each head and see this head and this head, they're different sizes.
Sure.
So this would be for a small rivet, this would be for a different type of rivet.
I see.
And we just keep going and going and going. But over the years, he's probably made some of these, but most of them are bought. But it's a collection of a guy that he's done it all.
Really?
I mean everything. And then these are called bucking bars.
Okay.
And as you can see, they come in every shape and form, because if you have to get down in a corner to shoot this rivet and your space is limited,
okay, yeah.
Or if you're on a lip like here, there's a little baby lip, you would put this under and you'd smash the rivet this way or
I see, okay.
set it, not smash, set it. But you can see some of them are ground But over 20 some years, he's modified and made some of these. Like some of these we have very tiny areas where you can get a small rivet in there. Can't hardly get your hand in there, so you're using very small bucking bars. And then we have different types of drills.
Okay.
All necessitated because you may pilot a hole, which is a baby drill, and then you drill it to size, and then you countersink it with one of these.
Ah, okay.
And then here, this is another rivet gun, another drill, which if you're going to be drilling 500 or 600 rivets in the side of an airplane, you want one of these. And this is tiny. This is definitely a Sioux.
Okay.
Extremely well made, very expensive gun also. This is some of these are set at a certain torque, and these are for running screws down.
Oh, okay.
And they stop at 25, 35, whatever they're set at.
Okay.
And I will show you later, we have new digital ones we just bought. And then we have different types he has a bunch of different, we call them rotary files. And we also use them with this type, more rotary files.
Okay.
Because you don't want to be changing whenever you're doing things. And like, this is a 45-degree drill, and this is a 90-degree drill. And these are the ones I told you, you can take this out and thread it in here. So again, if I'm in a very confined space, I can use this. We have 90s, we have 45s, and then we have, there's some other ones that he has a lot of everything.
It's funny because in automotive, it seems like they're going away from a lot of air.
Yeah.
And they're going to cordless electric tools.
So are we, but specialty stuff, when you do sheet metal, you need all these.
Oh, okay.
You may use this once, 2 times a year, but if you're in an overhaul facility, like, you may use that every single day.
Okay.
Like they have a cargo mod where they put cargo doors on older airplanes that are sold.
Oh, gotcha.
And they have you're putting in 20, 30,000 rivets. Well, you need everything. And you don't want to have to change a bit.
Yeah.
So you have 3 of the same thing, you know?
Gotcha.
So, but that's a deep one, and then this is a shallow one. And the funny thing is this is called a pancake pork chop.
Okay.
Don't ask me how I got that name, but and it's just got gears in it. And again, you can drill in a tight, confined space. You can drill in a confined space any direction.
That's crazy.
Where this won't fit.
Okay, yeah.
So this is why we have these.
So I'm guessing there's a lot of tight spaces in the big jets.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
It's insane.
Really?
Some people can't fit in some of the holes. We were discussing all airplanes have what's called a nut plate.
Okay.
And this is a floating nut plate. And this is a tool that you use when you want to drill a hole. So you set the nut plates here. So we have a rivet that goes here and a rivet that goes here. So you put this on the airplane and you drill the center hole, and to make sure your template is correct, you put it like this, drill a hole here, flip this 180 degrees, which will be the second hole, and it drills that. So then when you put this on the airplane, it fits, spacing is perfect.
That's genius.
It is genius. And that's a standard nut plate. And now we have dome nut plates, and this is a special tool for this one. But as you see, we have numerous different sizes. We have this size, this size, this size, and there's way more than just those 3.
Really?
Like, yeah, there's tons of them.
Okay.
Different purpose, different strength. And like this one will float up, down, and side to side. So if you're trying to line a panel up, you would use these in a specialty area. And they're heavy duty compared to this is for different things on different aspects of the airplane.
I see. Okay. What are these things?
I honestly have not a clue. I'd have to go ask him.
This is for removal and installation of the highlights. They're not that good. That does the same thing as this.
And that's better.
Yeah, this is a lot better. Those do not work very good.
But like the holes we drill in an airplane sometimes, like we were talking about, we need this. Well, we're done drilling that hole. This is a a threaded reamer. So we have to make the hole for a specific rivet to an exact size.
I see.
And high locks to an exact size, but they're called the interference fit.
Gotcha.
So it may take, they tell you drill the hole 3,000 smaller than this, and this gets pushed in.
Wow.
That way this doesn't spin.
Huh.
So we do a lot of reaming on airplanes with that. And then we have our standard vernier calipers, a square. And then this is, if we're doing a repair and you want to space rivets, and the engineering documents will tell you what the spacing has to be.
Okay.
So if it's 2D is what it's called, 3D, 1D, 1.5, whatever diameter of the rivet is, which is the head, it has to have so many spacings between the two.
Oh, so
Okay.
this is like an easy way to set it up.
Yes, it
I
takes
see.
math away.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you can set it up for big or small. Then we have radiuses. On a repair, like we were talking about, the engineer may call out, Boeing or somebody else may call out what radius we have in there,
Okay.
what he wants on the patch, the repair patch. So we have to have a set of these in order to get it to the dimensions he wants. And
Wow, so you
radius.
guys actually do like custom sheet metal work.
We do repairs,
Repairs.
mostly.
Okay, I
so
see.
if somebody accidentally, we have a lavatory service truck run into the airplane, they poke a hole in the airplane, it'll come down here, we'll get engineering involved, engineering will draw us plans up, and every step will be followed by what the engineer wrote.
Oh, gotcha.
So-
okay. I love how everything's in foam. Like everything.
You need that, to me, in aviation, you need it that way because you don't want to forget it.
Oh, gotcha.
You know,
yeah.
if you don't want to leave it in the airplane.
Yeah, for sure.
Then we have, these are called clicos, and these are for specific sizes or different colors. Each one's for a different color drill hole. So if you want to put, here's a repair patch that they're doing as a test. So these are smaller, so you would use this size here, and let's say these were bigger, you would use the next size up. So there's a piece of sheet metal here. Let's say we're drilling this. We start here and here, and then we put these in there, and then we fit this whole panel. These hold two pieces of material together.
Oh, okay.
Boeing's done repairs that it's, you know, they have 10,000 of these in a panel holding it up because it's curved.
Gotcha.
So you can see tons of these, and they have draw clicos also.
They have what?
They're called a draw clico. I don't know if he has any in there.
Take it like this. So that part,
Oh, okay.
it runs, tied the nuts down.
I
So
see.
it pull this.
Oh, okay.
That's how you
And you can see all this gooiness. That's the sealant we put on the panel. Like when we put a panel up to make it leak proof, we do that. But these are, so when you're putting that together, this is the same thing. You use a Clico tool, and it holds these two together before you even drill it.
No way.
So it just clamps the side of the materials. And then we have simple ones that we use.
Is that just like, oh, you just squeeze it with your.
Yeah, they're just, you just put the metal there, you squeeze this down, and it holds it.
Huh.
So you can lay your marks out and drill a hole and then put one of these in a hole. And once it gets going, you build it up
Gotcha.
because you don't want it to be like this.
Sure, yeah.
So you want it to be as flat as possible. And then the last is, I don't know where his tips are, but this is a rivet squeeze. So if again, we have all that fancy stuff, you can't get a rivet gun under there. We can do this and squeeze a rivet
Oh, wow.
with special heads that are put in here
Okay.
for certain size rivets. And some rivets are different alphabetical numbers.
Okay.
You're not going to be able to squeeze them, but with small repairs, they tell you use this instead of using the pneumatics. Then again, more work holding, though we use this to hold stuff with. And then he has if you're drilling in an airplane, you don't just want to drill a hole, you want to put back this. This is micarta. So if you're drilling a hole, you want to move stuff out of your way, and you put this in here, and you run a drill in there, you'll hit this and not hit a wire, a line.
Okay.
So it's just a safety device that most of the sheet metal guys carry with them. And then this is a separator. So if we have to separate something if we have to peel the skin, like between these two, we've taken all these rivets out and this is glued together here. We put this in there and we try to get it to come apart. This won't damage this.
Oh, gotcha.
So we use stuff like these to do that. Basically, he has every type of holding device you can think of, because we have some heavy pieces of aluminum and thin pieces of aluminum. So
I like how used everything is.
oh, it's
Like
used.
there's no excess tools in here. It's
No.
like everything he uses.
No, and this is only, I don't even know what's in this one. I didn't look, but like we use these, and when you're a mechanic, sheet metal mechanic, you want to take these up in the airplane, and you may use 10 of them in an hour, grinding in a certain spot. So you never want to be without them.
Huh.
So they make their own little trays of stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
Then we're back to this drawer for
Oh, that's right.
different size rivet heads. We have a
That's amazing. There's so many in here.
and a lot of them, they're custom made. Like if they're working on an airplane, this one somebody made. You can see where it's bent and flattened the side. So it was such a tight area that he could barely get in there, and this is what he used. And
That's
it didn't work,
crazy.
so they heated it, because all this is hardened.
Uh-huh.
They heated it, ground the back off of it, and bent it. But we make whatever we want that we know is going to get the job done. And then this is a specialty, like a muffler cutter you have at home.
Uh-huh.
We use this to cut the nut off. The
Oh.
nut on this is aluminum,
Okay.
and this will cut the nut. Instead of taking 200 of these, taking them off, this will cut them. Cutters, and there's cutters that'll cut straight up and down. But yeah, this is an incredible box for sheet metal. And there's a smaller one of those. And then if you have difficulty getting a bolt out or a screw out, this goes into that gun also. And let me walk over here. I grabbed a couple of these. So you'd put any size bit you want in there, from a number 2, number 3, number 1 Phillips.
Okay.
And you put this on there, and then you put the rivet gun on here. And if that screw is too tight, now you can use air and knock it out.
Ah, okay.
And these are more specialty tools, like we were talking about drilling a hole. Well, we can't, if we're trying to drill a hole and there's two pieces, when we lay this in between the two, say the bottom is all drilled. So this would go in that hole, and then this piece of sheet metal would go above it. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
And then we drill it. So this will line up on the bottom hole.
Okay, gotcha.
So and these come in specific size drill bits. Like you just see the height difference in the pin,
Oh, yeah.
or bore difference.
Yeah.
And now we have even a goofier one where that pin is inside. That's outside, this is inside. So if we come up,
Ah, okay.
we can do the same thing.
Huh.
It just depends where you're at and what you're drilling. Like I said, compared to automotive, we have an astronomical amount of specialty equipment
Yeah.
that guys buy themselves, the company buys for us, or we just pick them up over the years. So again,
Holy cow.
when we drill a rivet head, this is not the same countersink as any countersinks in automotive. It's a special degree. So you can see the pin size is different, but like this bore size with this and this would be the same.
Okay.
So this would be, let's say this 100-degree countersink
Okay.
for this size of high lock or
Wow.
rivet. You have every single one of them.
That's amazing.
And then I'm gonna go back to that rivet squeezer. Where was that at? I don't mean to. So like I said, this this is a rivet squeezer, and these are the sizes you can stick in this head. So if you have like a baby rivet, it goes down in there, and then you put another piece, one on the other side, and you squeeze it, and it squeezes the rivet to the perfect length, grip length, and crush. So everything's done. And then you have, these are called micro stops. But again, these are extended ones, and these are standard ones, and these have countersinks in them. So we're gonna go back to this. So this will drill that countersink, and you adjust it here for the depth of the rivet. If you have a giant rivet and you want it countersunk, they're either over flush, which means if you drag your finger, you can feel them, or under flush, but it's all depends on what engineering tells you you can and cannot do in the documentation. But he has every different size. Again, you want to have every one of these because you don't want to constantly, if you're doing a number 5 rivet, you want a number 5 micro stop set up. So you pull it out and you check it, always use a test piece.
Okay.
Test it with the same thickness you're doing, make sure it's perfect, and then you go to the next step. Some amazing stuff. Yeah, a lot of his stuff was put over into this box.
Okay.
Like here's another specialty tool.
What is that?
So when you have rivets, you can buy them in this grip length, or you can buy that same one that's this long.
Okay.
And we can take this and set it for a specific height and length you want. Like we have a -6 length, and we can set this in those, and then we squeeze this and it cuts the rivet. Still a little piece of rivet down in there from the last job he did. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, more specialty tools. He leaves this one in one part of the hangar, and then this one he rolls to the airplane.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So just standard cutters, straight. This is right, and then he has a left one somewhere in here.
How long has he been doing this?
Probably 15, 20 years.
Oh, so like a long time.
Yes.
I just love how much use all of these tools have.
And then this is just your standard pop rivet gun.
Okay.
And then these are the pliers I told you about that are, this is a Coleco plier. So you can see, you put it here, and you squeeze, and it pops it off. So when you put it back in the hole, say this is a drilled hole, you put it in there and you let go, and it's tight now.
Wow.
So that's used, like I said, to align,
Gotcha.
make sure we have no buckling or pulling or bending. But like I said, he switches back and forth.
Okay.
And then this pancake pork chop we showed earlier, but this is a 45-degree pancake pork chop. If you have very confined space and you need to drill right here, it'll get in there. Rotary bits, say somebody shears a bolt, a high lock screw, he can go over there and he can get the screw out of there. If a puller doesn't work, he can use these. I don't know where he keeps all his drills. Another one that he made up over the years. This little handy dandy carrying thing.
Oh my gosh.
And then again, where you're at, you can't use a vacuum. So this is a sucker vac. So you hook an air hose to it. It creates a venturi, and you can suck all your sheet metal shavings up.
That's cool.
So just another tool people don't ever see or use. And now this is a rivet gun for cherries.
For what?
For a cherry. This is a Cherry Max rivet. So you'd put this in here, and it pulls it to a certain length. It snaps it off all over the airplane, wherever the manufacturer, Boeing, Airbus, want to put those.
So what type of aircraft do you typically work on here? Like,
we have 737s in the next gen series. We have the Max series. We have the A321 Airbus and the A319 and A320 Airbus.
Okay.
Sometimes we have 757s. 767s, and then once in a while we'll have a 777 here. So I don't know.
so you say he takes this like to the plane?
We take it to the airplane just because of space.
Okay.
And then again, we're talking about. Here's another one of these.
Look at that.
It's a knock a rivet out of a confined area.
okay.
because it needs to be bent so you can get in somewhere. He drilled the rivet out and it won't push out.
Huh.
So he drills them out. And then again, this is a special header for a rivet gun for a very odd angle. Then this is if you got an odd angle and you're not confident in your drilling ability to keep the drill straight up and down.
Oh, okay.
This is like an egg cup they call the production made ones, but he probably made this up himself, which is very nice.
Yeah.
But it tells you number 30 drill, number 20 drill, number 10.
Okay.
Again, more micro stops. Brass punches, because we want something softer than the airplane. So we would use a brass punch instead of a steel punch. Basic tools, some snap-on, some others. Personally, I like snap-on sockets, ratchets, and wrenches.
Okay.
Because they have made my life very easy over 40 years. You
Gotcha.
know? So, but even we have specialty guns that we use to do sealant. So it's
Really?
2-part. Yeah, and it puts a tip on there. And we have specialty glue some of these fasteners in.
Huh.
But again, the maintenance manual reference will tell you what glue you can use for which structure, how much to put on there. And then this is another nut plate, and you pull it through and it holds it in there with the rubber.
Oh,
And
okay.
you squirt the glue around it. And then now when it's dry, you pull this off.
Huh.
And then it becomes a threaded nut plate. Again, the yard store, they sell the most equipment you can buy, new, used, whatever, for aviation tooling. Like
Yard
this is
store, huh?
Yeah, I've bought a lot of stuff from them over the years. Yeah, so if you have a $5,000 drill, they'll use it at, say, Boeing. Boeing uses it for a certain amount of time and they're done with it, and then they'll refurbish and sell it.
Oh, okay.
So instead of $1,500, you might get it for $500.
Oh, no
So
way.
it changes. But we can go over here, and this is what I've worked out for 40 years with. And
so these are all your tools.
this is mine. These are either Mac or Snap-on, but I have the flats are all Snap-on, and I think these are Mac or Mac. No, these are Blue Points, sorry. So I have this standard.
So how long have you had this box? Like this, is this a
Yeah.
Kennedy box?
Yeah, it was. Getting pretty much worn out. Specialty wrenches, regular wrenches, 30-60 wrenches, all Snap-on. And then I have, these are most people don't even know Snap-on sells these. But when you're working on an airplane, these are some of the most trick tools you can have. Back in the day, we made our own. We would buy one of these flat ones and we would cut it and make our own handle.
Really?
And then Snap-on started making them. Repetitive, taking 30 bolts off.
Uh-huh.
It's such time saving. And if you're in a confined space, say the bolt is here,
Uh-huh.
it's hard to get in there. So you just put that thing on the bolt and you're doing this.
Oh, that's cool.
And it is, for me, I've used those my whole career, custom made ones that I've had.
Uh-huh.
But Snap-on literally came out with these, and I got rid of my old ones and have the new ones.
Wow.
So. Then I have, the last thing I have is these. We have some, we use these on hydraulic quick disconnects. Sometimes you got to get in there, it's confined.
Okay.
But I have complete set. Unfortunately, they fall out of the bag all the time. But I have a complete set up to 3 inches, I think. And I've used those over the years. But again, like I said, people think that we have tons of big tools, but we don't. So in aviation, these are the #1 tools that we use right here.
Right there.
This is it. This is a specialty tool. And people are like, well, why do you have a fancy tray? Why don't you put them in there? Because I may carry this to a confined spot. I have so many clips on here, and I go up there and I know when I'm done, I check and make sure that they're not left in the airplane. So we keep them on these because we're always moving. We're never doing the same job twice. Snap-on swivels. I like these because they're thin-walled compared to other manufacturers or not.
Okay.
And if you have one go bad, they'll give you, replace it, no questions asked.
So you like using the 12 point?
Everything in aviation is 12 point.
Like all the bolts and everything's 12 point.
99% of what we do is 12 points.
Huh.
Numerous different ratchets. But like I said, when we go upstairs or we go to work on an airplane, we literally, my wrench bag, I know where it ends and where it begins, so you're not changing anything. Does that make sense? So you know, when I get out, I know I have two longs.
Gotcha.
But like this is a 7/30 seconds. Very, very rare on a Boeing. Airbus, they put that nut and bolt everywhere. It's a nightmare. Most of Boeing is quarter. But again, I have 4 different types for 1/4 inch for different areas. Because you might be going again in that little area you can't hardly get to.
Right.
But with the long ones, it works great. And then again, offsets. Like these are just one time buy. I don't need the whole set of these. We buy one for when you need it for the job. 2 shorts and 2 longs in 41 years I've used. Allen wrenches, we use them a ton. Very rarely, that's the biggest we carry with us. And that's if we have engine changes or heavy duty stuff. And again, we are discussing specialty tools. One of my partners in Denver, he made these up, and these are stainless, and they're for adjusting an A320 sliding window. But if you don't have these, you can't fix the airplanes. We have them in the tool room, but I don't want to go from there all the way out to there.
Gotcha.
So I made he made set for all of us.
It's crazy to think that this is the biggest stuff you'll use, because you look at it.
But this and this is the biggest thing we're going to use.
That's just crazy, because you look at a big like commercial airliner, like huge stuff.
No, it's not.
That's crazy.
And of course, we have standard twist safety wire pliers. Run it through the bolt, whatever needs safety wired. Push the little hoo-ha down, and then we pull it and it spins the wire. This one is a standard twist, and then this one is a forward and reverse twist. So you can go either direction.
Well, that's nice.
Depending on change of if the bolts change.
Wait, so you would need to do it a certain way, a direction?
Yes.
Really?
Because it just depends how the bolt pattern is laid out.
So I figured if it was just twisted around, it'd be enough either way.
Because some of them, they won't twist tight enough for you, so the bolt is left. And it has to be in a correct pull, so you're pulling in the right direction.
Oh, that makes sense. I see. Okay.
Mostly Matco pliers and stuff, and you can see being down here, stuff likes to rust a little bit.
Gotcha.
But like we were talking about earlier, like his is all sheet metal, and this is my sheet metal kit. We'll walk over here. So this is,
oh my god,
I would keep all the drills in them, every size we need, and I would take this to the airplane. And this is a snap-on tap holder. I have 2 sizes and they have handles on them.
Okay.
These are the best investments you'll ever make to tap out something that's stripped, either at home or at work.
Those are ratcheting?
Oh yeah, they ratchet left, right, and then they also lock.
Whoa.
In the middle, they're locked.
Huh.
But these are very, very useful at home. And you can see I have 1 micro stop versus his box. And we were talking about, this is a threaded cutter. So that high lock we were talking about, when it has the nut on there, you run this over the top of it, and it'll cut the nut off because it's aluminum. Okay. And of course, we have numerous sizes in that. And then these are drill bits that go in there into the threaded ones. we have them shorter than this for very,
Really?
very confined space.
Huh.
So that's a stubby.
Oh my goodness.
More cutters in, like, I just made this tool. So
You
all it
made
is, yeah, it's an old turn barrel for cables, and it's threaded to the right size for this. I just chuck it up in a drill, and I can drill out high lock collars with it. And then this is it's kind of messy, but it works. So if you want to grind sealant out, you can't use this on aluminum because it destroys aluminum.
Oh, gotcha.
And it's specially coated on the airplane. So we have these 3M roll locks. And it'll take, if you're trying to get sealant off around a bolt, these are what we're told we can use per the company. Burnishing tools, that if there's a scratch in the airplane, we can use this to burnish.
Oh.
Again, the only way you're allowed to do this is with a maintenance manual and or engineering approval. You can't do anything without paperwork.
I see.
Either engineered paperwork, Boeing paperwork, or Airbus paperwork. I buy, these are all snap-on. And then
those drill bits?
Yep.
Okay.
So, oh, that one's falling apart because I roll this around the hanger, it gets knocked out. And then we have different files, and like this file is for shaving aluminum, and it's pretty interesting because you just push it one direction and it will shave like you've never seen anything come off.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah. So if you wanted something to be flush and your hair off,
Look at that.
you can do this and it'll shave like little micro curls.
Yeah.
But it's, again, it's for aluminum only. Don't use it for anything else. I'm not fancy or in like some of the people in your videos where they have everything set perfectly up. And then these are, this craziness is, these are for lubing, and these are special grease gun fittings. And again, some of the fittings are buried. You can only get at them with this. This one's nice because it'll rotate.
Okay, yeah.
So if you're using this in a confined area, you can even bring it almost back on itself. And this is just a straight needle you would push into a fitting. And then this is the same one that there's no room, but you put it in between there and you can use this one. And then we have offset ones again that confined space. Say there's a bar right here, you can actually get your fitting in there so it has the little bend.
These look like they have like a special, grease gun or something?
Yeah, they are. And we'll go in the tool room and I'll show you those.
Okay.
Nothing, not much. Oh, that's the stuff I took out. Then this is my complete disaster here. But I have a lot of specialty tools in here that I've made over the years. So this is a snap-on 7/16, but I needed it for a special job to get somewhere over a hydraulic tube where I cut it to make it work because it was so tight in there you couldn't get in there. And then we use these types of crow's feet, and it's the same concept, but we make little ones.
What is that?
So if you want to turn the engine when you're borescoping it, you take a pad off, and it's a drive pad, and you put that in there, and then you put a socket on there and turn the engine so they can look at all the blades when it's being borescoped. So we made this up 40 years ago.
Wow.
And then this is the same thing. This is a specialty tool that we made in the shop, and you put it on a bushing. Like if you had a bushing that you had to pull off, you'd put, that's pretend bushing. You put this here and you pull on it, and it pulls the bushing out. But it's something we made because we were taking these bushings out at the time a lot, so we made one of these, and it works extremely well. And then we have another one in here. Excuse my mess, but no metric, all standard. Once in a blue moon, you'll need it. But these are for cutting fiberglass.
Oh, okay.
And I have them professionally sharpened because then they last forever. And another specialty tool. It's a 1/4-inch drive, and you put it on a flight control, and you turn a actuator so you can change the volume to more or less up or down.
Huh.
So this is a specialty tool, and these are safety. These are for taking connectors off airplanes so you don't mar the connector.
Okay.
And the little rubbers are wore out. And Snap-on sells these, and they'll give you new rubber for free.
What's this thing in the back?
That's a screwdriver, another handmade little thing. If you need to put a tip in there, like we have some crazy tips for screw heads. So you'd put that in there. And again, if you're in a confined area and you need to reach, that'll work. So it's just something we made over the years. We've made a lot of tooling. We have a Snap-on screw extractor.
Oh, okay.
This thing works very well.
Does it?
I really like it. I've used it on automotive and aircraft. My little pancake pork chops with a stubby.
Oh, okay.
So if we have to pry something off, it has to be aluminum, non-marring on the surface of something.
Ah, okay.
So we use aluminum only. And then most of our punches, we use brass punches, and we may have to have different lengths for different jobs. And I used to have 4-footers, but each one I made specifically for a job.
Okay.
Then that's probably what everybody thinks we have.
Yeah,
but
that's what
we don't use it.
Really?
I haven't used that since the DC-10s, DC-8s went away.
Really?
And most people don't even know what a DC-8 is. DC-10s, FedEx still flies them. And then I just have like a hammer we made one day in the shop.
Look at that.
It's a bruiser. It works great though.
Does it?
Oh yeah, thing is
It's
so
like,
heavy.
it looks solid.
And then again, we have specialty tools. This is called a rig pin, and everything has a remove before flight for safety.
Okay.
And I don't know if I push that, but everything we do is on a safety aspect. So I have this tapered bolt that I made, but it actually has a streamer on it for safety.
Huh.
So whenever you install one of these in the airplane, you make a write-up that says this pin is installed, and when it's removed, an inspection guy comes over and he verifies this is removed, and I sign it off, and he verifies that I signed it off and took it out. You can see from the elements here, this is my sheet metal stuff, which compared to his there's nothing. Everything that looks like it's shiny and oily, that's a corrosion preventative that we spray on the airplanes.
Oh, okay.
So we spray it on our tools.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so how long have you had this toolbox
This piece of crap I've had, this Snap-on box I've had for probably 12 years.
Really?
And then this is a general side box, which they work extremely well. I mean, for the money, you can't beat that. That thing was like $199.
Yeah.
You know, and you slap it on a decent toolbox, and then I just use it for extra stuff. Like this tester here is to test the nitrogen air charge on the landing gear, or hydraulic pressure we use them for on the landing gear brakes.
Really?
So we can see we have 3,000 pound systems, and then normally landing gear air charges are 1,200 roughly, depending on temperature. This is a tire pressure gauge, same thing, and it's digital. Our tires right now are let's just say around 200 and some pounds, 220 pounds of air in a tire. This has to be sent back for calibration every year. We send it to a cal shop.
So you can't use your own tools for...
No, you can't use measuring tools, and that's what I was going to show you the next thing. Oh, no, fluke. Like, we use this fluke. This is what we use, and somebody left it on. This has to be sent out for calibration. You cannot bring one from home and use it. You can't buy your own, because this has to stay in such tolerance for the airline industry. They're all the same. This, torque wrenches, gauges, measuring equipment is all calibrated.
I had no idea you can even get those calibrated. That's crazy.
And then we have one we made up, this one. So this one's really cool here. So we made this up, and it's just standard fluke, but we made for each pin size, we made these up. And we have power grounds, clips, jumpers, and then this is a female pin, and then we'll have another female, and then a male we'll put in the airplane and do test if it needs a male to a female, and then this is if we need a male and put a female test lead on it. And this was made up by a mechanic, and it saves us so much time. Rather than 375 mechanics have this set up, we have one. And then we have this kit, like you talk about this is a test kit we have, and this is a different voltage, 28 volts. We use 28 volt system on the airplane, and we use a 115 volt system on the airplane. So just like a test light in automotive, you can use this light, but it's 115 volts and 28 volts because all our airplanes are that. And then we have jumper pins, and you can see how small some of the pins are. That's actually a female pin.
That's a female pin.
Yeah, so it's like 24, and here's the male to that. And they use them all over the airplane. Oh, what else do we have here? I want to show you cool stuff. This is navigation equipment. Let me flip it open. And then, so these are test boxes. Again, you'll see that everything has to have a calibration date on it for safety. And it'll tell you when it was last calibrated, when it goes out, and when it comes back. And then most of our equipment has CDs or books on how to set it up and use it. And everything we do, we're trained on. There's a group that trains somebody to do different things.
So that would be comparable to like a scan tool for a car?
Yes, but only for one component on the airplane. So that would be navigation, would be autopilot and some other things.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, and we got more fluke stuff. We use a lot of it. Which one is this one? Oh, this is another specialty box that the industry uses, and it's a tester. And you set this tester up, and it's for the fire bottles we use in the cargo pit, and it tests the bottle and it tests the squib, and it's another specially made tool just for aviation.
This is so different than
what
I'm used to seeing.
Then again, like this is a pitot static tester that we use. And again, it's used, and when we're done using it at a certain time of year, it goes back to the vendor or to our cal lab, and we do calibration to it.
What does this do?
This does pitot and static.
What is that?
Pitot.
I don't even know what
it's for numerous different things.
Okay.
But everything in every box here, it has a reason why we have it and what it does. Even our vacuum cleaner and sanders, they're HEPA vacs.
Really?
Because you cannot use a regular DeWalt sander and have the material flying out. So we have bought specialty HEPA sanders and a vacuum. So you can sand, and it's supposed to put no particles in the air.
Wow.
And again, every year they have to send it out to a test lab and make sure it is doing what it's manufactured to do. What do we got? Oh my gosh, it's not even taking off. So we have a little specialty hand bender, so we can bend tubes. So if we have a hydraulic tube that's aluminum or stainless, we can repair it and say we have to bend the tube like an S or a circle. This is the tool we have to use to do that.
So the airline manufacturers will specify a certain tool that you have to use to do certain repairs?
In the maintenance manual, Boeing will say use this brand of tube bender in order to make a satisfactory repair.
Really? Huh.
So,
man, this is just goes on.
oh, this is the one I was telling you about. Like, this is a specialty kit that we just made up, and it's for taking a tail cone off a 737. Oopsies. But it has all the hardware in there, specialty sockets, specialty hardware, and again, everything, even in the impact world, is 12 point on the airplane. Very few things, if any, are 6 point. But we needed 36 inches just to get to the 11/16 bolt to take the tail cone off. So, and most other brands like this Snap-on, you're not going to break it.
Yeah. What is that in the middle there?
This?
Yeah.
That's that tool I showed you. That this is a shorter version. You put it in a gun.
Okay.
You take that and you put one of these tips in there, and then you turn it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And anything that's special, like I kind of try to build and make, because being the lead, I have some extra time that the company gives me to make stuff. But you can see this is a special, Liebherr is an Airbus tool, and these are special fittings that you have to buy to use to do the test.
Whoa.
So, people wonder why a ticket's so expensive. Well, you've got all this stuff, and these are all the scent test lines. But there's a lot of money just in tooling, is astronomical amount of money.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
This is a class that the mechanics used to get taught every year. So again, we have a tester here, and each pressure gauge is different, and each gauge gets sent out. The whole kit gets sent out every year, and the calibration lab goes through it. And this is to check the bleed system on the engine only. So this is a manufacturer's made kit.
When you say bleed system on an engine, what is that?
So we take hot air from an engine, which is 400 degrees, and we take it off of the engine and send it through an air conditioning pack, and we can make it 50 degrees, 40 degrees, so the customer's cool or hot. But we use air off the engines in order for passenger comfort and pressurization.
Huh.
The paperwork in here tells you how to hook everything up, and you have to pull the AMM up from Boeing every time you use this. You have to have the maintenance manual with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So do they send technicians to classes and stuff?
For just this, absolutely.
Really?
Because you're never going to figure out how to do it if you don't get sent to the class. Trust me, the guys some of them they need to help, need training. But 99% of what we do, we train on. But like, here's another thing. Simple scale. It's a digital scale. It's a push-pull scale.
Okay.
But every year, that goes back to the calibration lab, and they put it on a special tester, and they test it. And then we have digital testers. If it's manual, digital, they still send them back to the calibration lab to have them tested. Everything.
Oh my God.
Inertia reels for fall safe. Safety is our number one thing here. We have safety harnesses, and then we have safety reels. That reel goes back to calibration, or they send it to the manufacturer, or somebody will say the spec on that is 1 year and you throw it in the garbage and it's done.
Really?
Well, I think maybe very expensive. I don't know. But like these are mechanical push scales. So
Man.
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
There's just so many.
But like we have, this is
Wow.
called free stock. And we basically, if a mechanic comes in here, this is what he can use. So we don't, the company provides that for us. And we have pretty much every size
Whoa.
drill bit you would need. And then we have specialty wrenches.
Oh my goodness.
That they can't expect everybody to buy.
Uh-huh.
You know, that's all Snap-on. I don't know what that would cost. That's probably $500 for one. So, and then we have some of the wrenches that I have. So these are the setup on guns if you have a bolt or a nut that doesn't want to come loose.
Oh, okay.
And this is what you're using.
So you check these tools out individually?
Yes, and they go in your name.
Oh, I see.
So anything you check out, he makes sure you bring it back.
Okay.
And if you don't, they send you an email. And if the airplane's not allowed to leave until all the tools are put back in this tool room.
Oh, really?
So we don't, so the safety aspect again.
Sure.
All right.
Holy
So these are our torque wrenches.
Oh my gosh.
So all these torque wrenches are, these are for tires, engine changes. We go from 10 inch pound, foot pounds.
Wow.
We have communication headsets when we move the airplane. I have one guy, each wing has one of these, and there's a safety box here. So if something is wrong and he's on the left wing, he pushes this and it sets an alarm off and I stop the tractor or whoever's up there. And then we have communication with the flight deck at all times when we're moving airplanes. So we have two sets because if one's bad, we need another one.
Oh, sure.
Because they don't want us moving anything without permission, without that. We do have a box we made too. So we are changing nozzles on Max LEAP engines. So I bought these for the guys, and these are phenomenal.
Those are the
Milwaukee's.
Okay.
And you buy the 6 amp hour batteries.
Uh-huh.
They last forever.
Really?
And then we made this kit up, and again, this is for taking fuel nozzles out of an engine. Custom made.
These are custom made?
Yeah, they're
No
custom made from a
way.
manufacturer. Again, 12 points and they're swivel heads.
That's
We ordered
amazing.
those, and then we just bought those, and then like the Snap-on swivels, when this cart comes back, it's checked in and checked out. So like this, there's no part here because we broke the tool.
Oh, I see.
And it's in the supervisor's office, and he will send it back to Snap-on, and he'll give us a new one, and he'll take that tape out of there.
I see.
But everything you do is in here that we need to do the nozzles with. Like,
So you check out the whole box?
Yep.
I see.
We made it so the whole thing is, and we have all, like if we need extra parts, we try to keep parts here and everything else. So, and everything, instead of using a safety wire, we use a Bergen safety tool, which is, I wish we had something to safety. That's the coolest tool you'll ever see.
Really?
And then we have, like I said, these things last forever.
Oh, okay.
They're awesome. The cheap ones, the smaller ones,
Uh-huh.
and then all the paperwork. Each nozzle has paperwork, so we have each one of these lays on the table where the nozzle's at. I know it's a clipboard, but
Yeah.
it's very important. We have every engine, and we know exactly which one is which part number, and that goes in the machine. And now at nighttime, we do an A check.
Do a what check? I'm
An
sorry?
A check on
A check,
airplanes.
okay.
So these lock out engine thrust reversers. So when the engine is all the way open, this is a safety tool that we have custom made. So employees that are under there can't get hurt, mechanics that are working. And then the same with these are specialty tools for removing a specific filter comes off with this. And then this is a chip detector tool. And you clip the chip detector tool in there and you push up and turn, and it pulls a screen out of the engine and you can look for material. And then this is a servicing tool that you use to fill, if you drained oil out of a specific generator or something, this will fill it up. And again, even a little Schrader valve, we made a safety for it.
Wow.
Because everything has to be backed by safety. And it's, I don't know, where's the other stuff? Here we go. So when you do thrust reversers, this is a safety pin. You pull the lever, put the safety pin in there, and it locks out the thrust reverser so nobody can deploy it by accident. This is we call it a cruise pressure, but you cut the safety wire, push this in, and it has a streamer on it.
Oh, okay.
So that's another thing. And now that's mechanically locking it, and then we electrically take the valve out of the system by taking the connector off and putting a safety block in front of it, and then these cap the connectors so they don't get dirty.
Ah, okay.
And those are in the wheel well. And then last but not least, another thrust reverser cover. But when a check comes in, these get installed immediately.
Seems like a lot of redundancy, like
Tons.
lot of
Everything's
safety.
redundant. Now I'll show you these. This is a Cleco gun. When you have this,
oh, it works with Milwaukee
yes.
batteries.
So when you want to tighten a specific screw, the maintenance manual will say all the screws are 15, 25 inch-pounds. You set this little computer up on here, and it auto sets each screw tension, torque.
Wow. That'd be a huge time saver. Holy cow.
$4,000. Yeah.
No way.
For one. And we have
Jeez.
5, and I think the 6th one is out.
But I guess
So,
you have to send those out.
yes, they have to be calibrated every year like everything else. Like all these, no, they're not calibrated. But these, yes, they'll have a cal sticker at the end of the year. And they have a special machine and they just put it at 15, drive it, and it should tell the computer, yep, 20, 25, and
Gotcha.
that's basically what they cal. Well, we like the Milwaukee lights. They've been phenomenal for us.
That's awesome.
And they last a long time, and we use the bigger batteries on those. And then we have the little, but I'm an advocate of that.
Yeah.
The little yellow one, no.
No.
No. But I don't know what else you would like to see.
I think everything in here is just amazing.
But here's a pretty rivet cutter, you know. This is a newer one. But we try to buy most of the tooling for the mechanics that are starting new, because some of these, you know, you can't buy these. These are like extraordinarily expensive.
Are they really?
And then you got to buy each head. So we have, the company provides that. But the longer you work on something in the airline industry, the less you want to go to the tool room. And that's me. I don't want to go to the tool room. I would rather have my own tools. Like this is a bushing remover. And this takes, so if we have to replace a bushing per a Boeing drawing. So this is a reaming gun. It's a Cleco. It only goes like 750 RPMs maximum. No, 500 RPMs. But we put these reamers in there. We'll put a reamer in there, and these are called a step reamer. This is one size, and this is the next size. And if you look, they start at 677 thousandths up to 608. So you're reaming bushings on the airplane with this. And then these tools are specific tools to push a bushing out, to put a bushing in. So, you know, each one is different, and the paperwork will tell you everything that you need to do in order to do the job per Boeing drawings and the maintenance manual.
Do a lot of these tools have like special training?
Yes, 99% of everything you touch, you're trained on.
Really?
We have specific classes for everything in here. And a lot of it too is you have mechanics that you're teaching that are new and you teach along the way.
Okay.
But you can come over here. But this is where we put our tools at. But this is where all the guys store their toolboxes.
Oh, well, this is nice.
Yeah.
So they're not just all over the hanger.
No, they're all put away. And as you can see, most of the guys have these shorters. And then some guys have big boxes, little boxes, but it's whatever your preference is. Snap-on, Craftsman, General. You know, people say, oh, well, I like this brand or that brand. But the whole point is getting it from A to B.
Sure, yeah.
And that's it.
That makes sense to have these smaller setups to be more mobile, I guess.
Yeah, because every night you may be in a different spot. Like in our other hangar I was at, the hangar was 3 times as big as the one here. Almost 4 times bigger. So you were moving.
Gosh, I can't even fathom it.
This is only one of 3. We have 3 of these rooms.
3 of these.
So.
Gosh.
But we use tons of different size forklifts. Everything we do is like, that's another tool area here.
So are these just a bunch of supplies that you guys...
This is oils, greases, liquids, blah, blah, blah. Then this is the dump area. But this one is
another one.
Yeah, we have 3 of them. Like I said, and then the terminal has 1 for all their guys.
So I guess everybody has a certain place for their box?
Yes, everybody, you're in the same spot every night.
I see. Okay. Well,
Because you can see where guys have put tape marks.
Oh, yeah.
For that's my spot and nobody else's type thing.
Okay. I see a lot of these.
Because you might have to go out on the ramp.
On a ramp.
So if you go out, so say I assign you, you're not going to take this one all the way out on the ramp. So if I walk you out to the airplane we drove to, so say if you have to go get that stuff off that airplane and work it for the night, then you need your toolbox out there.
I see.
But like I said, everything we do is safety, safety, safety. And you can see we have specialty ladders that go over the top of engine. So,
gosh, it's like mind-boggling how big it is in here.
Oh yeah, we got the big ass fan company.
Big ass fans.
It's nice because this hangar does get warm in the summertime.
Is that breeze that I'm feeling from the fans?
Yes.
No way.
And you don't think they're big, but that thing's, I think, 42 feet wide.
Oh yeah, I bet that thing's huge.
So
run it on full blast. What is this thing here?
this is just a power distribution and air distribution. So we plug it into the ground, which is astronomical amount of power, and then we can run everything we have for the check that night.
Ah, okay.
And run everything we need air-wise off the bottom. So these are all air hosed.
Ah,
and then the big ones are for aircraft jacks or different type of tooling that needs more volume of air.
I see. Yeah, I meant to ask, your ear pieces,
Yeah.
they look really unique.
They're custom molded.
Really?
Yeah, and then the other ones we have just the yellow ones. But in aviation, you got to be extremely careful with your hearing because the airplanes are extremely loud.
Gotcha.
But like these are the ones that we use.
Okay.
And if you're around airplanes long enough, you will have hearing loss.
Really?
A lot of guys ignore it over the years, and they don't care. But some of the guys are extremely hard of hearing. And it gets to be annoying because you tell them to do something and they can't hear you at all.
Oh, gotcha.
So the company provides free hearing protection, as in plugs and muffs.
Oh, okay.
And guys, 90% of them will heed it, and if they don't, they'll be deaf very quickly.
Yeah.
Being a lead, I'm not on the floor as much as I used to be till it comes to specialty jobs like rigging doors, flight control cables, and some other specialty things. But I just try to help the other guy do it. I try to teach him how to do it so next time he can maybe do it by himself.
Gotcha.
Or with another guy. And that's another aspect is 99% of what we do is two people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because of safety again. We change a tire, it's 2, maybe 3 people rather than 1.
More like redundancy, I guess.
Yeah, it's everything we do is from the safety aspect. So if you put a filter on, once the filter's been put on an engine, another guy goes outside and we leak check it. We run it for a specific amount of time for the paperwork.
Gotcha.
And you don't check your own work, somebody else will check your work.
Gotcha.
So it creates a very safe environment.
You know, I also like to ask guys that have, been in certain industries for long periods of time, do you have any advice for guys that say somebody's watching this video and they're like, I'd like to do that, for guys that are just getting started?
Your biggest thing is you have to go to a class and then get your government license. And I think it's 18 months here to go to a school that'll teach you to be an A&P mechanic.
Okay.
Airframe power plant. And it's broken down into 2 tests. And then you have a written, oral, and a practical test after.
Okay.
And that's given by FAA designated training facilities that do that. But the biggest thing is if you like to take things apart and put back together and troubleshoot things, this has been the greatest job for me ever. I mean, it's been awesome.
I love that.
People, like I said, 41 years and I still like coming here. I don't like getting up.
Yeah.
But I like working on airplanes and always have.
That's amazing.
So,
I love that. Well, Mike, thank you again. So don't even worry. Thank you so much for taking the time. It's been so cool. Love that. It's just not something you see every day. So it's really cool. I'm so happy I was able to make it out here. But if you have a setup you'd like to have featured on the channel, you can hit me up on Instagram or you can send me an email. Till the next one, we'll see you.